The air crackled with anticipation. A life was about to begin, a daughter's cry destined to fill the world with light. But for one man, that joyous occasion was instead to become the backdrop for a descent into a horrifying darkness, a tale of absence, dread, and a final, gruesome discovery. This is the story of a family shattered by the ultimate act of violence, a story that lingers in the shadows of unsolved mysteries. It's a story born from the cryptic whispers of the internet, a single post on a Reddit thread. I am curator of the Nutshell Studies of Unexplained Death and author of an upcoming biography of Frances Glessner Lee, the mother of forensic science. Ask me anything, the post read. But nestled within this announcement of academic interest lay a chilling subtext, a hint of a tragedy that would forever stain the lives of those connected to it. The poster, an expert in the meticulously crafted miniature crime scenes known as the Nutshell Studies, which were created by Frances Glessner Lee herself to train investigators, indirectly offered a glimpse into a case that was not only unexplained, but seemingly unfathomable. It was here, in the digital realm, that the first fragments of the story began to coalesce, hinting at a darkness that even the most hardened investigators might struggle to comprehend. The core of the tragedy centered on a man, whose name remains shrouded in the mists of anonymity, a deliberate veil of protection perhaps for the surviving family or a consequence of the case's cold status. All we know is that he was on his way, filled with the joy of a soon-to-be father, to witness the birth of his daughter. The image of his journey, fraught with the excitement and expectation of impending parenthood, is one that resonates deeply. He was likely visualizing the tiny fingers, the first tentative smiles, the overwhelming love that a new child brings. But the joy was tragically short-lived. He vanished. Poof. Gone. Vanished into thin air, leaving behind a void that would quickly become a chasm, a gaping wound in the fabric of his family's existence. The months that followed were likely a blur of frantic searches, desperate pleas, and the gnawing, relentless anxiety of the unknown. His wife, awaiting the arrival of their child, must have been a picture of mounting terror, her joy overshadowed by a growing fear that was palpable. Were there frantic calls to friends and family? Were police reports filed immediately, the initial urgency met with a chilling lack of leads? The family clung to the hope that he would somehow reappear. Perhaps he had been in an accident, his car found somewhere remote, him suffering from amnesia, unable to return. Maybe he'd had a sudden, unforeseen personal crisis, a need for space that had spiraled out of control. Anything, they must have prayed, anything that didn't involve the unthinkable, to prevent the inevitable, unspoken dread from taking root. But hope, in this case, was to be a fragile thing, easily shattered by the harsh realities of what was to come. 6 long months passed, each day a heavy weight upon the shoulders of the grieving family, a period that stretched into an eternity of anguish. The birth of his daughter, an event that should have been filled with unadulterated joy and celebration, became a bittersweet milestone, marked by the profound absence of her father. The hope that had sustained them through those agonizing months began to dwindle, replaced by a cold, hard knot of despair. Then came the unimaginable, the discovery. His body was found, his identity confirmed, the unbearable truth laid bare. He was dead, and the circumstances of his death were beyond horrific, a brutal testament to a level of savagery that defied comprehension. He was found in a barn, a setting that conjures images of rustic simplicity, of quiet solitude, of a place where perhaps he had sought refuge or been brought against his will. But in this instance, it was a site of ultimate violation, a chilling tableau of depravity. His body was decapitated. The discovery of the body, by his own family, must have been a moment of unimaginable trauma, a scene that would forever be seared into their memories. Imagine the grim determination that must have fueled their search, the desperate hope that they might find him alive, only to be confronted with such a grotesque and brutal end. The search, the hope, the slow, agonizing realization of his absence, all culminating in the final, horrifying confirmation. The shock, the grief, the sheer weight of the loss, compounded by the sheer barbarity of his demise, would have been almost unbearable. And then, the terrifying knowledge that someone, a perpetrator capable of such unspeakable violence, was still out there, a killer walking free, a ghost in their community. The impact of the crime on the family is almost beyond description. The joy of the daughter's birth, the event he was so eagerly anticipating, was forever tainted by the tragedy that unfolded. The absence of a father, taken too soon, in such a violent manner, will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on the child's life. How do you explain to a child why their father was stolen from them? Why they will never know the comfort of his embrace, the sound of his voice, the security of his presence? The questions will echo through her life, a constant reminder of the void that can never be filled. The pain, the anger, the grief, these are the burdens they carry, a heavy legacy passed down through generations. The emotional impact on the community is also worth noting. The fear, the sense of vulnerability, the chilling realization that such evil could exist within their midst is a heavy burden to bear. How could something so horrific happen in their quiet corner of the world? The unanswered questions linger, sowing seeds of distrust and anxiety, turning familiar surroundings into places of potential danger. The lack of closure only serves to keep the wounds open, a constant reminder of the loss and the injustice, a wound that festers because the perpetrator has never been brought to account. The geographic location of this tragedy remains vague, a deliberate omission that amplifies the unsettling nature of the case. But the barn represents a potent symbol of the case, a place of potential hiding, where secrets can fester, where unspeakable acts can be committed unseen and unheard. The crime's location could be anywhere: a remote farmstead, an abandoned outbuilding, a forgotten corner of the countryside. The only detail we have is that the man was en route to the birth of his daughter, a journey brimming with anticipation and love, brutally interrupted. This lack of specificity only adds to the case's unsettling nature. The anonymity of the location only adds to the feeling that this could happen anywhere, at any time, to anyone, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present threat of violence. The case of the missing father and his gruesome murder is a testament to the unpredictable nature of life and the cruelty that humanity can inflict upon itself. It is a stark reminder that even in the face of new beginnings, the joyous dawn of a child's arrival, darkness can unexpectedly intrude, leaving devastation in its wake. This unsolved mystery becomes a chilling symbol of loss, the victim's life ending in a manner that's not only violent, but also deeply personal, a brutal violation of his very being. The Reddit post that brought this case into the light is a strange, almost unsettling confluence of two worlds: the meticulous forensic world of Frances Glessner Lee and her miniature crime scenes, designed to bring order to chaos, and the raw, unfiltered reality of the tragic case that would fit perfectly within them, a real-life horror that transcends any fictional depiction. Perhaps, as the author of the upcoming biography delves into the history of forensic science, meticulously examining the techniques and methodologies that have evolved over time, the details will be found, buried within forgotten case files or overlooked evidence, that will bring some form of clarity to this case. This case will serve as a reminder that not all of the stories are solved, that the pursuit of justice can be a long and arduous one, and that many families live with the never-ending ache of the unknown. The hope for answers, for justice, for a measure of peace, lingers on, a faint but persistent flame in the darkness. As we delve deeper into the world of true crime, we are often confronted with the realization of how easy it is for one life to be completely taken away, how devastating and unsettling it can be, and that the victim's story is never truly forgotten, even if the perpetrator remains at large. While the mystery of what happened to the man will likely continue to haunt those who knew him and the investigators who have grappled with his case, the memory of this father, cut short in his journey, a journey filled with love and anticipation, will live on, a poignant reminder of a life tragically extinguished.